made possible by Jebco Construction Companies.
My goodness, what a ride it has been. 26 years as a public servant for the town of Prescott Valley, and certainly a steward for this community. But before going on any further, I would like to ask the following people to please stand who put this thing together. And wouldn't you agree that things have turned out rather nicely? Laura Lee Nye, Leah Duke, Ryan Judy, Sanford, Heidi Doms Foster, and Sarah Skoog Hoffman. Thank you all for all the work that you've done to put this together. With that, Edna, thank you for allowing Harvey to come out and play for all these years. And in another few months of retirement, you may be truly thanking us for taking him off of your hands for these 26 years. Harvey, you have helped lay the foundation for this community to follow the journey that we have been on and to a future economic success. And many, many more individuals and families will benefit because of the foundation you have laid. You have truly been a statesman, and to demonstrate that, you know, back when you started as a public servant, we had about 4,000 people in the town of Prescott Valley. We had 130 miles of road, but out of the 130 miles of road, 122 of them were dirt. And now, under Harvey's leadership, we have over 300 centerline miles of street, and not one street in the town of Prescott Valley is dirt. They are all paved. Bravo. Harvey and fellow council people put together, with the help of an individual who's out here who has served this community very well, Michael Confiso, who I think is at table 5, who is our bond attorney. And we have a strong relationship with his firm for the last 30-some years. But we put together the largest improvement district in the history of the state of Arizona. Now, to demonstrate Harvey's ability to be a statesman, you can imagine taking a concept out to the community and having it in auditoriums where at least 50% of the people, if not more, were screaming and yelling at the council people sitting up on that stage. Harvey being one of those. The statesman that Harvey has been his entire career as a public servant in Prescott Valley has been one where somebody can get in his face, call him all sorts of things, and Harvey will thank them. Thank them for their opinion, not lash out and try to snag them by the throat, which might have been appropriate several times. But because he is such a statesman, we were successful in putting together the largest improvement district in the history of the state of Arizona, and then shortly thereafter built the second largest improvement district in the history of the state of Arizona, which eliminated over 7,000 septic tanks, paved 122 miles of road, brought in natural gas to this community, which I would submit to you all under Harvey's partnership with other council people was the most important thing that this town did to lay the foundation for us going forward. But then the second best thing ended up being buying a water company. We ended up in Prescott Valley, we were served by a water company that was struggling with the Corporation Commission and some silly rules they have. And they elected at that point in time to sell to the community, and that was a decision the community embraced. We thank the owners of that company for going ahead and thinking about the future of Prescott Valley, and we ended up buying it. That was not entirely a popular decision. It was $15 million worth of debt plus $7 million worth of improvements. And that entire time, Harvey took the shots coming from people that thought that that was a very silly thing to do. But the purchase of the water company, which by the way is the cheapest water we've ever purchased in hindsight, but under Harvey's guidance and inspiration, we were able to accomplish that. But very importantly, Harvey is a fiscal conservative, and anybody that knows Harvey knows that. And so, as the community went forward, Harvey made it abundantly clear to all of us as staff, we will make sure that this community survives. We will make sure that we have reserves that will carry us through the bad times, and that certainly was the case with the recent recession that we just went through. Because of Harvey and the rest of council's support, we ended up with a very strong reserve fund, which, by the way, he has insisted we rebuild after going through the recession. And Harvey, as you well know, we're doing very well financially, and we look to you to blame for that or to take credit for that, however you feel, whatever you feel is appropriate. And we are on the cusp of having a AAA bond rating. That, ladies and gentlemen, for governments in this day and age, is a very, very good thing, especially a community the size of Prescott Valley. Harvey, thank you very much for your guidance. Harvey, we're going to miss your calm, inclusive demeanor and your steady hand on the tiller. And with that, happy trails, my friend, as you proudly proclaim that on your watch, Prescott Valley became the largest community in Yavapai County, the fastest growing community in Yavapai County, and the only community in Yavapai County that is growing younger. Thank you.
I'd like to introduce Yavapai County Supervisor, Tom Thurman.
Hi, everybody. You know, there was a few election cycles I had in my past, and Harvey was always so gracious enough to come to me and say, Tom, if you need a letter of recommendation, please feel free, I'll give you one. And he did, and so I was reelected again. And for all of you, I have your addresses, and I know what we're going to charge on property taxes, so I appreciate Harvey allowing me to continue on to charge you money. Harvey's an accountant by trade, and he's always been very conservative, if I would say the least, with Prescott Valley. Prescott Valley has been run great, and I hope it will continue that way. And the Board of Supervisors do hereby appreciate that we created a Harvey Skoog Day, and we did that resolution the other day for Harv, and he showed up at our board meeting. So as far as we are concerned, we are so happy that you have done this for our community, our county, and we are very proud of you and enjoy your retirement. And on behalf of the Yavapai County Board of Supervisors, Craig Brown is here, Jack Smith is here, Rolly Simmons, who is our chairman right now, couldn't make it, and Randy Garrison from the Verde. Without you, this would have been tough. And by the way, thank you for your sales tax generation, because Yavapai County needs as much money as we can get. So, Harvey, thank you. And that's a flag that flew over our courthouse in the name of Harvey Skoog.
Please welcome the President-elect of the Arizona State Senate, Karen Vann.
Thank you. Well, Harvey, what do you think? For those of you who may not know, Harvey and I actually go way back, as I do with Edna. What a great woman she is, standing behind this guy all these years and putting up with everything. So, yes, let's hear it for Edna, will you? Mrs. Skoog. So I had the distinct pleasure of, when I served on the Prescott Council from 92 to 96, Harvey was mayor back for Prescott Valley back then. So I had the luxury of being able to serve with him then and all the things that we accomplished. And if you can remember, Prescott Valley was still going through a lot of growing pains back then. And he was able to navigate all of this through all of those challenges that we had. Then he took a little break, and I took a little break. And then between 2002 and 2009, I was the mayor of Chino Valley, and Harvey was mayor again. So I had the luxury and the opportunity to be able to serve with him again. Same thing, going through more growing pains. I always said I would never be mayor of Chino Valley because you want to talk about growing pains. Is that right, Mayor? Where are you? They're over here. But Harvey was always there behind me, always standing there and making sure that we moved forward with this. We had the luxury, that was when Rollie Simmons was the mayor of Prescott. Thank you. So that was when Rollie was the mayor of Prescott and Harvey was mayor of Prescott Valley and I was mayor of Chino Valley. And so we were constantly and frequently at occasions like this and everything, and it was always Harvey and me and Rollie. And there was always this discussion as to whether I was the rose between two thorns or the thorn between two roses. I suggest it was the latter. So Harvey, with this, I am going to read a dedication proclamation from Michelle Reagan, our Secretary of State, along with a flag, Arizona flag that was flown over the Capitol. And let me open this up here. State of Arizona, Department of the State of Office of the Secretary of State, United States of America. I, Secretary of State Michelle Reagan, certify that this Arizona flag was flown over the Arizona State Capitol on October 24th, 2018 in honor of Mayor Harvey Skoog for your devotion to duty and the 26 years of faithful and honorable service which you have selfishly given to the town of Prescott Valley and the state of Arizona. Thank you, Harvey.
Thank you, everybody. I'm just going to tell a couple of stories. So as most of you know, when I ran, I came out of nowhere. And this district that we ran in is a series of getting to know a number of mayors. And one of the wonderful things about this job is you get to read and find out who or what is the magic sauce, whether it be a business, an area, or a county. Every time we had a meeting with Harvey, everything was so laid out and organized. And he had taken the time to actually put together a few of his thoughts about family, about religion, about his community, about his country. And he'd always hand them to me at the end of our meeting. And folks, it was wonderful to be able to open those up and read the thoughts of a true constitutionalist, somebody who cared about his country, his community, his family. Very well organized. So I would want to thank the whole Skoog family from the bottom of our heart, from District 4, from Arizona, from the country, for their service. Edna, it always takes two people to do this job, not just one. It also takes family. And by the way, if you haven't figured it out, your magic sauce to Prescott Valley for so long has been Harvey Skoog. Thank you, Mayor Skoog.
Well, 33 years ago, when we went to our first Prescott Valley Chamber of Commerce mixer at the Tri-Gulch, two of the people we met that night for the very first time, this is before the radio stations were around the air, summer of '85, it's Harvey Skoog, and the person that I'm going to introduce next, the former mayor of Prescott Valley, Carm Staker.
Thank you. Is that okay, Tracy? Okay. It's such an honor to be here tonight and to pay tribute to our friend and neighbor and councilman and mayor and all the other things that he's done in the town of Prescott Valley. He and I started out together back in, what year was it? 1984. I was the mayor here in 1983 to 85. And before that, I served on the council for 2 years. So we had gotten to know each other a little bit, but we did so many projects. Remember, we were a town that was only a year old when I moved here. I came here from Iowa in 1979 and felt that God had truly blessed us, my husband and I came here and left our family back in the Midwest. But we felt that God had truly blessed us because he had some illnesses and he recovered and things were going well for us. And I was homesick. He said, you better get involved in something. So I did. Anyway, I had the privilege and honor of serving with Harvey. Got to know Edna. They've been there to support me in many different things, like when my husband died and when he was awarded a special honor and so forth. But Heidi said, think of some project that you did. Well, we did so many projects. One of the ones that I decided to talk about was we had a lot of dusty roads in Prescott Valley in 1983 and 85. I think every person that lived on a dusty road either called myself or one of the council members to complain about the dust. So we didn't have hardly any money in our treasury in the town because we didn't have a lot of businesses, and that was the way we survived, was with business tax. So anyway, we heard about this deal, and it was supposed to be just for Prescott Valley. It would work just fine. It was financially, we could afford it, and it was supposed to take care of the dusty roads. So we did it. And it was called slurry seal. Remember that? Anyway, we put it down on Robert Road and a couple of the other streets. I don't remember exactly which ones. But it rained, and oh my, did it rain. And slurry seal does not hold up well with rain. Let me tell you folks, it was coming off the street sheets. So we had that, one of the obstacles, one of the things that we had to deal with as we grew our town. And it's such a privilege to be able to grow a town. If you stop and think about it, folks, there aren't very many people who have that opportunity. And we were a brand new town, and we had the same kind of problems that everybody else in a brand new town has. You start with square one. We had the dog leash law, and we had budgets to put together. We had a comprehensive plan that we had put together, and so that was how we got started. But we've had a wonderful relationship. It's been a joy to work with Harvey. When I was the mayor, he was on the council and met with us many times to go over all these things. But it was something that would never have succeeded had it not been for you people out here in our audience that are volunteers in so many different areas in our town and concerned citizens about the town. You can't do it by yourself. You have to have involvement in the community, and we had that. And that's what made us what we are today. And I'd like to just give everybody in the audience a big hand, and please join me, because it's because of you that we're where we are today. You know, as you walk through life, and I've had a few steps along the way, I just celebrated my 91st birthday in October. So I've had a little experience, but nothing like what we went through when we started the town. And what an honor and a privilege. And an honor to work with Harvey and to get to know and talk about our families and do things together. One of the things that I think is important is little verses or particular writings that you find along the way. And I'd like to share this with you. To me, it's a very special thing. This is Robert Fulgham's All I Needed to Know I Learned in Kindergarten. Have any of you read that? It has so many neat things in it, but I want to share this one with you. When you go out into the world, watch for traffic, hold hands, and stick together. And this is the example I think that Harvey has set for us, to hold hands and stick together. And this is something that we need to do as we continue to grow. Thank you so much. It's been a privilege to speak to you tonight, and a special privilege to know Harvey. And thank you.
Thank you, Carm. Next, please welcome Prescott Valley Vice Mayor Laura Lee Nye.
This is one of the hardest things I've been ever asked to do, because I don't want him to retire. But I respect him and I honor his desire to do so. Now, Larry painted a picture of perfection of behavior of our mayor. But I've traveled all over the state with Harvey, and I've sat beside him in years and years of council meetings. So I have a story Harvey knows nothing about, but I'm telling it because it's the truth. We had one particular citizen that if he walked in the room at a council meeting, I could feel Harvey stiffen up. And I won't name him Harvey, I'll behave. So when that would happen, I paid special attention to his body language. And if that particular person came up to speak, Harvey would start vibrating. So I would do this to Harvey. I didn't realize anyone was paying attention to Harvey, but I had a citizen contact me that knew about this event, she asked me to tell the story because she saw my attempts, whatever they were, to calm him down, to say it's okay, to say I'm here. And she noted it, and she asked me to tell you that story today. So on behalf of the citizen who watched at home on her couch, high out there, I honored you. You know, I may have had the privilege of being vice mayor more often than anyone on the council since '04. I'm not sure I can add it up. But this is what I want you to know about Mayor Harvey Skoog. I cannot get emotional. Harvey is a gentleman in every cell of his body. Harvey worries about all of you. He worries about the council. And he's so proud of his family. You all know that out there, family, don't you? Because we traveled so many miles together, we probably had conversations that were longer and more meaningful than other people have had that opportunity to have outside his family. And if I were to open a dictionary and I would see honorable, and I would see gentleman, and I would see wisdom, and the words caring, his picture should be there. It's such a privilege to stand here and honor our mayor, Harvey Skoog.
And now representing the city of Prescott, Mayor Greg Mengarelli.
You know, I have a great opportunity here to poke at you a little bit and make some fun, but I noticed you're the last one to speak tonight, so I thought I better not. You'd also be glad to know I was on the way over to Prescott Valley tonight, and we pulled into the men's warehouse, and you have another $43.97 sales tax I spent for you. So, you're welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my distinct pleasure and honor to speak about Harvey Skoog tonight. He is someone that is an idol for me. He's someone I look up to in every aspect of his life. His family, his faith, and his government public service. I think of three words when I think of Harvey Skoog: leadership, legacy, and loyalty. The first time Harvey and I had a meeting over lunch, I was thinking about what Congressman Gosar was saying. They're very memorable. I know, Congressman, when I met with Harvey, he slid across the table these papers. And I started looking through them, and he's really nonchalant. And it was a whole booklet of what it is to be a mayor. And he did it out of complete humility. But honestly, I was honored that he would think of me as someone worthy of having the wisdom that he had compiled over the years. A man of character, integrity, humility, and faith. Harvey, you're a leader that I hope to emulate someday, and your leadership is exemplary. Legacy. Look around in this room and you can see the legacy of Harvey Skoog. Look around the town of Prescott Valley and you can see the legacy of Harvey Skoog and his leadership. What an amazing town that he's built here with a great team. I remember I came out to a ribbon cutting. You know, I was wanting to, well, get some chicken, but I did come out to the Chick-fil-A ribbon cutting, and Harvey was the first one to come out and greet me. And I remember he made sure I was introduced at that ribbon cutting, and at the picture, he kept pulling me in. Greg, get up here. I want you up front with me. I want you next to me on this picture. The man is a great cooperator. He is somebody who believes in regional cooperation. He gets it. Thank you for including me. I appreciate it. Loyalty. Finally, loyalty. You're loyal to your family. You have a lot of grandkids and great-grandkids. I know I don't know if I'll ever get there, but good job on that. You're loyal to your staff, you're loyal to your town, and you're loyal to your region. Harvey's a statesman. And unfortunately, we're in a political culture right now where they're few and far between. You're a statesman in the pattern of Ronald Reagan. And my friend, I hope I'm half the statesman you are someday. I appreciate your demeanor. You're polite, you're kind, you're gentle. I so appreciate the fact that you lead us in a way that's worthy of the office. I'd like to share a quote with you from James Freeman Clark. He says, "A politician is a man who thinks of the next election, while the statesman thinks of the next generation." Harvey, you've always had the best interests of Prescott Valley in mind. You've always made decisions keeping these people in mind and not your own interests and not getting elected again. On behalf of the city of Prescott, on behalf of the Prescott City Council, I congratulate you on an amazing career and a job well done. God bless the Skoog family. God bless Prescott Valley, and God bless America.
Thank you, Mayor. Next, please welcome representing Dewey-Humboldt, Vice Mayor John Hughes.
Well, that's going to be a hard one to cover from there. I'm going to make mine short and sweet, kind of like I am. I've known Harvey for a while, and being in the vice mayor at Dewey-Humboldt, has really been able to get closer to the conversations with Harvey, and it's just been a great honor. I just want to thank all of you folks tonight for coming out to spend this night with Harvey. It's been a great deal. The biggest challenge that we have is Dewey-Humboldt is Prescott Valley was going to take us over at one time. So all of our citizens decided to become a town of their own. But we don't have to worry about that because we don't have a grocery store or anything. Thanks to Harvey, he takes care of us for everything we do. So I appreciate that. We'll keep sending our taxes your way. That's just a little joke, but no. Look at the town. You can't ask for a better scenario for a town. And 26 years is a long time in the trenches for being in the community, fighting and battling to do the things right. He's just amazing man. And like I say, every time we have a conversation, it's always a positive and there's always a lesson to be learned. And I really, really, really appreciate that. And as a new father, I'm not going to get 32 grandchildren, but we're going to keep doing the same steps that you're doing because you're just a man of honor. I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. And now, please welcome representing the town of Chino Valley, Mayor Darrell Croft.
Harvey, I'm humbled to be here this evening representing the town council and the citizens of Chino Valley. As you approach your retirement, be assured that you have set the standard excellent municipal government and community leadership throughout the Tri-City area, Yavapai County, and the state of Arizona. I have some personal things that how Harvey has affected me. I met the mayor a few years ago when I was appointed vice mayor of the town of Chino Valley. He impressed me as a person I should listen to and learn from. We became good friends. I really considered him a mentor and almost an older brother. One day we were comparing birth dates, and we found out that I was over a month older than him. So much for older brother. A couple of months ago, my wife Don and I were in Diller's men's department looking for a new pair of kicks for me, and this handsome, well-dressed gentleman, as Harvey always is, walked up and introduced him to Donna. I believe that Harvey is the most charming man I've ever dealt with. Well, on our way home, Donna said she enjoyed meeting the mayor. And she enjoyed, and kind of starry-eyed said she really admired the man. I thought, there, he set another standard, and I had to follow. Well, that lasted until reality set in as we pull into the garage. Harvey, know that you have many friends here and that we will miss you. Please don't be a stranger to Chino Valley or anywhere in the area. As an old sailor, I offer this prayer to you and your family. As you begin your voyage and sail away to new adventures in distant ports of call, may you reach your destination safely and always sail with fair winds and following seas. Thank you for your family.
Anderson, Marty Grossman, Mary Mallory, Mike Whiting, Jody Rooney, Cal Palguda, Don Packard, and Kendall Schumacher come to the stage, please. By the way, when I met Harvey 33 years ago, he gave me a piece of advice. And every single time I've talked with him, he's given me the same piece of advice over the last 33 years. He always told me, Sanford, you take good care now. And I have. And I will. The executive assistant to the mayor, Leah Duke.
Hear me? Thanks, Ryan. That's the way it goes in the office. I'm so glad to be here. It's been an honor to work with Mayor Skoog. We've been together for 14 years, and it's kind of like I'm his second wife, I suppose. But his office wife, she says, yes. We've had a really enjoyable time together, and I admire him so much. He truly is a servant leader. Probably the best servant leader I've ever known, and he's a true gem, a diamond in the rough, but he's a diamond now, and I know that he has an expert behind him that carved him out and found the most brilliant cut that they could out of him, and that expert hand was Edna Skoog. I'm here to honor Edna today, and so, you know, she is a very humble, quiet woman, but she supports him so well. And I remember when this last election, he struggled whether he was going to run again. And it was a surprise to me that he decided to do so. And I remember at the party after how excited and how proud she was of him. And his family was there and was so proud. They were all just gleaming, and it was just a wonderful, wonderful sight. Darn it, I wasn't going to cry. But I just love him so much, and I'm so proud of Edna for her support to him. She's just a really wonderful woman, and we wanted to present her. Edna, if you want to come on up here, you're going to have to come stand by me. We have a small plaque. You know, Harvey has oodles and oodles of these, but Edna deserves a gigantic one, which I'm sorry I couldn't deliver. But this is a beautiful one, and it says, "In appreciation and admiration, we thank you, Edna Skoog, for 26 years of dedication, commitment, and support of the mayor and the town of Prescott Valley. We will always be grateful." Thank you so much. We also have lovely 3 dozen roses for you as well.
So I guess your fellow council members here have a special presentation they'd like to make to you, Mr. Mayor.
We do indeed. And I'm going to call the council into session. And I'm going to ask you to all come up here and surround me. We have some unfinished business. And it's very important to us, exciting town meeting. So, this meeting is called to order. We have a proposal on behalf of our staff in Prescott Valley. Let me repeat that. Our staff in Prescott Valley. They want to honor Mayor Skoog in a rather interesting way. They brought a proposal forth to the council that Town Hall will no longer be on Civic Circle. It will be on Skoog Boulevard. It requires a majority vote. So, I want each of you to step forward, and I want you to tell me what you think about what the staff wants to do. And I have the privilege of asking our mayor-elect, Cal Palguda, to go first. And isn't that mean of me?
Thank you, ma'am. So when they were thinking about what street we were going to name after Harvey, someone mentioned that perhaps we could pick maybe a spot that Harvey likes to go have coffee every morning, and whatever street that is on, we name that street. And then someone brought up the reality that we'd end up naming 27 different streets, Skoog Boulevard. So we ultimately came up with Civic Circle. And as we're all going to get a chance to vote, and what I'd like to do is involve everyone here. So whoever's in favor of this vote, please stand for just a brief moment and let Harvey know that you also agree with this. Thank you, guys. Keep standing.
Okay, I'm really honored. So, I want Council-elect Don Packer to come up here and tell us what he thinks about it, and you can all be seated.
Thanks, folks. Yeah, thank you. Sit down. Good Lord. We moved here from Atlanta, Georgia, and probably every third or fourth street was Peachtree, something or the other. I propose, of course, I'm not sworn in yet, but I propose every third or fourth street should be Skoog South, Skoog West, Skoog. Thank you.
So I have a theme going, right? Step up here, young lady.
Okay, my name's Kendall Schumacher, and I'm going to be taking seat next year. So I also wanted to get in on the fun. These are a lot of fun people to work with. So my thought was we should rename all of Prescott Valley to Skoogville. How many are going to stand for it? I don't think I got to go.
Miss Mary Mallory, come up here and give us your opinion.
Well, Vice Mayor, I'm a little confused right now. Again, but really confused this time because, as you know, and everyone out there knows, Prescott Valley Council agrees all the time, every week. And we're not doing that right now. So, you know, to have a discussion over something is not always the norm. But I'll put in my 2 cents. I like Skoog Center. That's my vote.
Councilman Grossman, it's your turn, and you better behave.
I don't know if I could comply with that. Okay, I'm going to just divert a little bit. I know Thursday night at our council meeting, we all gave our opinions of Harvey and what we feel about him and how we feel about him. But I was reminded of a poem that I read several years ago, and I'd like to read it, if I could control myself. It's The Dash by Linda Ellis. I read of a man who stood to speak at a funeral of a friend. He referred to the dates on the tombstone from the beginning to the end. He noted that first came the date of birth and spoke of the following date with tears, but said what mattered most of all was the dash between those years. For that dash represents all the time they spent alive on earth, and now only those who love them know what that little line is worth. For it matters not how much we own, the cars, the house, the cash. What matters is how we lived and loved and how we spent our dash. So think about this long and hard. Are there things you'd like to change? For you never know how much time is left that still can be rearranged. To be less quick to anger and show appreciation more and love the people in our lives like we've never loved before. If we treat each other with respect and more often wear a smile, remembering that this special dash might only last a little while. So when your eulogy is being read with your life's actions to rehash, would you be proud of the things they say about and how you lived your dash? And with that, there is a book called The Dash, and I have a little present for you, Harvey.
Well done, Marty. Step forward, Ms. Bruni.
Well, Vice Mayor, I think that the question was about whether or not to name a street after Mayor. And you know what, I'm thinking, you know, he's the mayor of Prescott Valley, not the mayor of Oz. And you know, we had our 40th anniversary this year. And we saw him dressed up as the mayor of Oz. And you know, it's probably a good thing we don't have any more dirt roads, or that road might be a dirt road instead of out in front of Civic Center. But you know, I am gonna have to say, yeah, let's go ahead and do it.
I saved Rick Anderson last because he served faithfully also as a vice mayor. And Harvey had many, many complimentary things to say about him when he was training me.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. You know, many times people have come to me and told me that I made a mistake every time I say that the parks are the most important part of the town, or that our Arts and Culture Commission is the most important commission. I'm reminded every day that wastewater treatment is probably the most important thing for the town of Prescott Valley. So it was suggested to me this week that it probably would be most important or most appropriate if we were to name the strip of road going in front of the wastewater treatment plant after Harvey. Well, now, you know, none of us would do that, of course. So I'll just go along with civic circle. Thank you all.
shouldn't have moved that easel, but focus back here, please. I'm calling for the vote. Mr. Anderson.
Yes.
Ms. Rooney.
Yes.
All the rest of you, because it'll take too long to go down the line.
Yes.
Yes! All of you! Yay! So we'll let Harvey open that as everybody goes off the stage and takes their seat. Thank you, Council. Go ahead and open it now, Harvey.
That's very nice. Skoog Boulevard. To introduce the Skoog family, which is probably going to take up pretty much the rest of the evening, please welcome Nancy Johnson.
That my family was coming with me, so come on. Diane, John, Bill, Sarah, Eric, Nathan, Steve, Leslie, and spouse. Come up here with me. While they're assembling, we would ask that the grandkids, their spouses, and the great-grandkids come up in front of the stage, and the little ones maybe where the railings are. Okay, all of you. I'm the baby. Delegation goes right down the line, starts with Diane, goes to John, Bill, Sarah, Eric, Nathan, Eva, wrong spot, get over here, and then Amy. So my name is Nancy Johnson, and seriously, it is so wonderful to see all of you here, all of you who have supported my dad, my mom, the community. It's great. Thank you all for attending tonight. I think that was a line here. So I wanted to provide a brief history about our family. My dad, my parents are both from Minnesota, super tiny smalls in Minnesota. Wolf Lake, Minnesota, my dad, and Savika, Minnesota, my mom. Dad is the youngest boy of 7 children, and by the way, his sister, baby girl Esther, is right here. Esther, say hi. And then Mom and Dad have been married, well, I forgot to say, Mom's a baby of 8. So I come from babies. But these two have been married now in February, it'll be 59 years. And you can see 9 children, multiple grandkids. I don't have the numbers ahead of me, but 60, Mom? 60 grandkids? 61 grandkids, and how many greats? 42 great-grandkids, lots of kids. So when you look at this family up here, all of us we embody the values that our dad has taught us. Really hardworking. We have a lot of perseverance. Put us in on something, we'll get the job done. And then throughout the years, my dad has offered all of us excellent advice, and especially the business owners back here wanted me to let them know that he really helped guide them when they were developing their businesses. I know when I've had job offers, I've sat down with my dad and we've put out the numbers, you know, what really is the best path. Dad has been amazing guiding every single one of us in everything that we've done. So our family moved to Phoenix, Tempe, Arizona in 1974, where you know who was born? Me. I'm a native of Arizona, so I get that privilege. And then they moved to Prescott Valley in 1982 when I turned 8. The population, by the way, in Prescott Valley at that time was less than 3,000. And truthfully, I know some of you have mentioned this, but it's well worth saying again, it was all dirt roads. We didn't have much here. We had horses where Mont Valley Park was, remember that? You know where those beautiful town lakes are? We had a big, brown, ugly pond. Yeah, it's come a long ways. This town has grown huge. So a little bit about Dad, too. Dad has always enjoyed walking, camping. He rode motorcycle for over 20 years. He really was an inspiration for me. Actually, I got my motorcycle endorsement and I rode his Honda Goldwing. But he's been a great, great mentor. He's been a great family man. So I wanted to say on behalf of our family that we have known Dad, this town has been his baby. He has dedicated his life to Prescott Valley. And it has been his desire to serve this community, and honestly, his dream has been fulfilled. So one thing that Dad told us too growing up is that it's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice. And Dad has really, really lived that value. And you know, when I was talking with family members, we all have seen it, I'm sure y'all have seen it. Dad has never judged anyone by their clothes, their status, their demeanor, nothing. Dad loves everyone. And that's an excellent example that we can see. So today, this entire family, we want to thank all of you for being here. We want to thank you for your service to this community. We most of all, and above all, want to thank you for your deep appreciation and support of our parents throughout the years. It means a lot to all of us. Thank you to all you planners for this great event. It is absolutely amazing. It's just beautiful. I'm just astounded at your love and your devotion to my family, to my parents, this great man. And then also we wanted to offer a big thank you to all you veterans out there today on this Veterans Day. Now, representing the great-grandkids for Harvey, this is Victoria. She's the oldest great-granddaughter, and this is Jada, and these are both Tara's granddaughters.
We love you, Grandpa, and for putting all the hard work. Happy birthday, and we thank you for putting all your hard work into Prescott Valley.
So tomorrow, my dad will be 79 years old, and I wanted to ask all of you to please join me in singing happy birthday to my dad. So, happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday dear Harvey, happy birthday to you. Thank you all.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our guest of honor, the mayor of Prescott Valley, Harvey Skoog. Harvey. I've also been told you have 20 minutes, tops.
That isn't enough. I want to thank you all for coming. Actually, I'm kind of speechless. This is, I'm not sure you can believe everything that's been said. I kind of have my doubts that it's all true, but people have been so good to me, our family, our friends, our community, my wife, all of you, dear friends. Somebody wants to take a picture. And it worked. The camera did it. Anyway, I've been mayor now for 19 years, 26 years on the council. And what that clearly shows is some of us aren't very smart. We keep going back for more. But I've been probably the luckiest mayor in the state. Our staff has just been super. They've done really a great job. And the council I've worked with is just outstanding. And how can a guy ask for more? I've talked to mayors who have had in their town a council that's dysfunctional or a staff that's dysfunctional. Usually the council is a divided council because of a problem. Our council has maybe taken a few minutes to come to a decision, but the decision has been rock solid. And the staff has just been absolutely outstanding. And they talk about hard work. Some people talk about what I've done. The staff did all the work, and the council made all the policy. How could we ask for anything better than that? And I believe it or not, one former mayor gave me some advice. He says, always consider staff your enemy. Well, that was definitely not the right advice. Staff does all the work. Our staff has been exceptionally good. Another bit of advice, he says, always consider the media your enemy. Well, that again isn't real bright advice. The media buys ink by the barrel and it's not filtered. And so if I were to give our president any advice, it would be friendly to the media. And always be friendly to staff. They are just great. And thankfully, Larry Tarkowski, our manager, has done an outstanding job. And I think it would be safe to rate him as either the top manager in the state or right at the top. And my vice mayor, Laura Lee Nye, who you got acquainted with here some time ago, what a super lady. She's real nice to me sometimes. Just a great lady, and I sure appreciate what she's done and the rest of the council. And of course our friend, Mayor Mengrelli, what a great guy. He's the youngest of the mayors of the 4 Quad City, but we won't hold that against him. Now the oldest mayor of the Quad City is my other friend, Darrell Croft from Chino Valley. And don't hold that against him. He's a month older than I am. And then, of course, John from Dewey Humboldt, great guy. I wish Terry Nolan, the mayor of Humboldt, had been here. He's got a big white beard, and he likes to play Santa Claus. And the guy's just a real good guy. But once in a while, he finds somebody that might be more than his equal. He was playing Santa Claus, and this little boy was on his lap, and he says, "Son, what do you want for Christmas?" The little guy looked up at him and says, "Santa Claus, you better start taking notes. I've already told you 3 times. So we do have our adventures. I want to thank Nancy and all my family, my 59, 60, 61 grandkids, and my great-grandkids, and all their spouses. What a super family. And my wife, Edna. And I have to admit that Edna actually raised a family. I did very little. And she did a good job of it, as you can tell. As you can tell, none of my kids got into politics. Obviously a sign of a good job. Thank you again, and thank you for coming to this party. This is much more than I expected. They had told me there might be some surprises. Well, this was way beyond surprise. And it's, what a thing, what a blessing. Thank you all. And thank you again and again and again. It's people like you that make the community great. Thank you again. You can see why I'm embarrassed. So many nice things said about me, and I really don't. I really question whether I deserved any of it. Congressman Gosar, supervisors, fellow mayors, all of you, thank you for your part in this, and thank you to all of you. I thank you again. It's people like you that make it worthwhile. Thank you again. I want to give Sandra a special thanks. I've known him for, I think, 33 years. 32 of them as a good friend and 1 year as an okay friend.
This will be eventually done in bronze and will be presented to Harvey at a later date. It's beautiful. For those of you that can't read it from there, in honor of Harvey C. Skoog's 26 years of service to the town of Prescott Valley. Mayor Skoog served during the formative years of the town, setting the foundation upon which the community could flourish. His dedication to citizens was unparalleled, and his legacy will always be remembered. On behalf of the town council, staff, and citizens, we thank him for his devotion to Prescott Valley. Thank you, Mayor Skoog.
Made possible by Jebco Construction Companies.